Something. There we go. Welcome back to episode 10 of the Tech Lounge. I'm joined by Kev from Tech Showdown. How you doing, Kev?
Doing great, Brian. How about you, man? You feeling a bit better?
A bit better, yeah. I woke up this morning, like my left eye is finally my right eye is finally getting better, and then the left eye, like this morning, is a little bit puffed up. I'm like, oh no, please just let it end. You know, I want to get back. I want to get back to making content. So hopefully that's not as bad as as I'm worried that it might get to. But besides that, yeah, everything's been going well. It's been really hot for some odd reason, like extremely hot. So how about you over the ditch? How about you?
Yeah, it's actually been not too bad really, but New Zealand doesn't really get particularly hot in summer. You know, if it's a hot day, maybe goes to mid-30s type thing, but it's nothing really excessive where, you know, Aussie start getting all the way through the 40s and then it starts getting a bit sort of, you know, unbearable. I just noticed that the chat seems to be disabled, so maybe you want to
I will fix that up too. There's
that,
always hey, there wouldn't be it just wouldn't be a show without something wrong, would it? So,
it's all good. It's just that I knew if people could complain, they would be.
All right, go at it, guys. The chat is enabled. So, with any tech pickups for the last week as well? Did you get anything good?
No. Like I started back doing videos, so I did the G1 Gaming GTX 1060 unboxing just to get into it, and then I made a video just discussing my thoughts on Vega, and pointing people to come join us in the Tech Lounge where we've talked about it more, extensively. So but today will be good. I'll go to Playtech after this show's done today, and I'll pick up the Z270 KB Lake system, which is waiting for me, and then I'll be able to start my KB Lake testing with the retail chips, 7700K. I'll see how many I can get out. I'll definitely get both, you know, the i5 and the i7, but maybe I'll be able to get more than one so we can see how much of a discrepancy is there in overclocking, but we'll just have to see how that goes. But what about you, man? You picked up anything?
Yeah,
another Xeon?
Picked up a bit. Not another Xeon. I mean, I've been a little bit when I was sick as well. I've been testing this. This is the QH8G. Now it won't work on a Z270, definitely no. But there was an eBay sale, so I ordered some old Z170s that apparently this chip works with. So this is the chip that I've been holding out. But the problem is, at the end of the day, I'm probably not going to be recommending it because it's actually a hard chip to work with. So this one, you can pick it up for around about 100 US, and it's a 4-core 8-thread Skylake. Essentially, it's like a 6700K. So you can overclock it. It's an engineering sample, so you can overclock it. It's $100, but the problem is actually getting it to work on a proper motherboard. So I ordered some motherboards. They were on sale off eBay, so I ordered them for 20% off, so they're cheaper than the retailers here. So looking forward to getting that done. Hopefully I can get it all working with, you know, custom modded BIOS and with the microcode injected and stuff. But I will say one thing, the Russians are really cool. Like, there was these Russian overclocking forums, and I couldn't find anything about these chips. Like, there was just nothing on these chips on any of the sort of English overclocking sites. So they got man, I went to the Russian sites, man. They're on their game, these guys, man. They got like full on, they got all the microcode.bin files ready to go. They're like, this is how you do it. These are the confirmed BIOSes working on these particular motherboards. So they're really on their game, and it was really good to see their overclocking community thriving. So
it's really big. They're a lot more in tech. It's my most views by country. Russia is like 5th for me on my analytics. So the pretty high viewership I get from. I get more Russian viewers than Australians and Kiwis.
Wow.
So pretty big from there. But I also get more Germans than Germany's like my 4th most watched by country. So yeah, that's kind of crazy, but US, good old USA, that's my number one. It'd be the same for UA. USA is number one.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, US is king. Like that's you.
Massive. It's about a third of my viewership comes from the US.
Well, dude, like I said in another video, it's like not just it's not just the 30% factor. It's like literally 80% of my revenue comes from the US. So
Yeah.
you know that's why you have to tailor your cater. What did I just do then? You have to tailor tailor your content.
Tailor your videos. Yeah.
Yeah, like it just has to be. So there's no other two ways about it. So yeah, that's the CPU as well. And we're going to talk about the G4560 as well, Intel's latest dual core as well. We'll get into that topic as well, but we'll jump into the first topic here. This is the Windows 10. So they're bringing out another update. So, you know, like I'm getting sick of these. Like, you know, every time you update, essentially it resets the settings, it changes services around, you know, so I might have to even make another optimization guide. I'm not too sure, but basically as it is, the first optimization guide I did for Windows 10 was pretty good. You know, that's still, you know, it's still relevant today, but problem is they changed little things around, but this time around they're promising to introduce this game mode. And exactly what it does is still up in the air, but what do you think it'll do? Windows 10 with game mode.
So basically, I assume this will be very similar to what an antivirus program would do, a security suite or something would do, in the sense that it's probably just going to turn off things you don't need while you're gaming, stop things from updating, namely, I don't know, probably Windows Update, but Windows Update's been pretty good, I think, for most people anyways, with not doing that. So I think it's just going to be something like that. But what they're saying is that you may not see, what a lot of people are assuming is that you may not see any difference unless you're playing games through the Windows Store. Yeah. Which is not what most people do. I don't know anyone who plays games through the Windows Store. I think the vast majority use Steam or one of the other ones like that, like Uplay or something else. So yeah, I don't know. But for right now, it's a cool idea for just Windows 10 to be a bit more streamlined. I think no one would complain about that. It's just the complaint will be if it's only for Windows the Windows Store, or if it's for all of the, you know, if you play a game through Steam, you'll still be able to put it into game mode and you'll reap the benefits from it.
Well, that's what we're hoping for. We're hoping to put this game mode and enable it when we're playing not just on the Windows Store, which is, I think a lot of people are hoping for that. And that's, if that comes in, then I mean, that'll be great, right? We can have our Steam games, okay, it's got this dedicated mode, drops all the services in the background. We're not going to get any crappy stuttering while we're gaming. That's the biggest complaint I have with Windows 10. That's why I think Windows 8.1 is a little bit better. Like, I've noticed when I played games like Dota 2 or whatever, you know, the latest 7.0 update, don't get me started on that. But, you know, when I've played a few games, it feels like there is this occasional stuttering that shouldn't be there. You know, I'm not used to it, especially on Windows 8.1 when I had that completely tuned to the max. I'm just wondering, you know, is this going to be game mode? Is it going to be proper? Is it going to be done well? Or is it going to be medium rare? You know what I mean? Even though medium rare is good.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it might just be rare, right? You know what I mean? No one really eats their steak rare. I know we're going to get one guy in the comments like, I eat my steak rare. but
most people don't.
Essentially, we want this to be a medium rare steak. You know what I mean? Instead of just a rare steak. Exactly. So that's what we want. So hopefully they can deliver. I mean, it's still up in the air exactly what's going to go on with this update. Is it going to just be for Windows Store? Which I've got an inkling that it will be for some reason. I don't know why.
With how bad Microsoft's been lately with all this commercialization and stuff like that, and with KB Lake as well being the fact that you require... Do you know if there's a way around that with the KB Lake requirement that you use Windows 10?
I'm not too sure. I mean... Apparently it doesn't. I mean, apparently it just disables some services on Windows 8 and Windows 7. Like, apparently it's not like a lock. It's just if you want to fully utilize your system. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's like my parents arguing in the background. I'll just, midstream. Can you guys keep the noise down? I'm live streaming. Thanks. Okay, there we go. Cool. Anyway. Like, I don't know. I tell them I'm live streaming, so yeah, they got to start arguing. But hey, that's Oz.
It's just Australia, you know. Hear the neighbours arguing, better mute the TV to listen.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, so it wasn't a complete disable. You can still run Windows 8.1 with Kaby Lake. It's just going to disable some, like the encoding, or
well, I mean, imagine they have to allow it still. That would be like anti-competitive if they did that, right? I mean, you're right. If you can't install your Windows 7 or Windows 8.1 that you pay good money for, I think what they're doing is, they're just disabling a few little things. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, but I noticed one thing though. I will tell you one thing. I did have a Z270. And I installed a custom BIOS on it just to test if this chip would work. And you know, the funny thing is, this is scary too. The BIOS, it was working completely fine. Everything was perfectly fine. And it went and backed itself up. It's like, no, this BIOS is, we're going to flash back the backup BIOS. And I'm like, who ordered this? You know, everything's working perfectly fine. So there's definitely some funny buggers going on there with, you know, like code detection and whatnot. So
yeah. No, I would,
funny buggers.
I think it's just the comments just exploded after that.
I don't know. Look, guys, I don't know what was happening there. Okay, just like, they just decided, like literally right outside where I'm streaming, like just to start having an argument. I'm like, oh.
It's the Australian way. You got to make sure everybody hears.
Yeah, but they could just say, look, Brian's streaming at the moment, man. We can go have an argument out back. You know what I mean?
yeah. No, I get that. What were we going to talk about that Ryzen, the 4-core, which we hadn't...
Well, first off, we're going to go with Kaby Lake. This is really damn... I've got to admit, I've ordered one of these. This, as soon as I saw the price, it's like 78 Australian dollars, right? We've got the G4560 coming up.
Oh, the Pentiums.
Yes, the Pentium G4560. I mean, this is actually pretty huge news. I mean, for a lot of enthusiasts, okay, they're rocking their i5s still, or they're rocking their overclocked i7s, whatnot, their 6 cores. They're not going to care, but this is actually really damn big news for that budget segment. I mean, you can technically, if you've got a friend as well, you can go out and get a really cheap H110 and then flash the BIOS, and then you'll still be able to support the G4560. It's essentially in the States, I think it's like a $60 CPU, something like that, $58 something. But here it's $78. At least I've ordered one from Umart, so hopefully I'll be able to pick it up today or tomorrow. Such a big news. This CPU, 2 cores, 4 threads, clocked at, I believe it's clocked at 3.5 gigahertz.
Yeah, they said 100 megahertz bump up over Skylake. So,
oh well, no, that's I think the i3 7100's like 3.9 gigahertz, but this one's 3.5 gigahertz. So yeah. Essentially, it doesn't have an instruction enabled versus the i3. Except the difference is, though, for gaming, that instruction set's never used. I think it might be AVX. I'm not too sure. So it doesn't use a particular instruction set, but for gamers, it doesn't matter. So that's a really cool product to keep. So $64 US. Sorry, I don't know why it's so cheap in Oz then. $78. That's what I'm picking mine up for. So we can check out the 7100, which is going to be sort of like the go-to budget CPU.
I mean, this is just so good for consumers from the perspective of, like, once Ryzen's out as well. Consumers, you guys, are going to have so much choice when it comes to CPUs. You're not going to know where to look. You're going to have so many. You got all the Pentium line, obviously, the Core lineup, and then all Ryzen's lineup. It's going to be fantastic.
So yeah, I pulled up the i7 7100. So that's going to 3.9 gigahertz. So that's got a 400 megahertz clock boost, which, for double the price, it really isn't worth that. But we'll check the 6100 quickly. And yes, that's 3.7. So you can see the value here is insane. Like for this little Pentium. And now one has to wonder, same level cache as well, 3 megabytes. So one has to wonder, is this a preemptive move towards
absolutely.
AMD Zen?
Absolutely, yeah.
You think it is?
Of course it is. Yeah, absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. So, why else would they, do this if they had no competition?
Okay.
I mean, they would just run the Core lineup some more. I mean, what have they really the Pentiums in the past, for one, haven't had hyperthreading since the Pentium 4, and they've just been relegated to obscurity, basically, in terms of the gaming market. The G3258 obviously changed that, but
Yeah.
still, you know, it's not been the most popular. Where this looks like they're actually taking it serious this time, and you know, what's the reason for that? It's, you know, not just a coincidence that this time around suddenly they're like, oh, we'll bring hyperthreading back on Pentiums all of a sudden. It's because of Ryzen. Absolutely. Intel's just trying to oversaturate the market with so many CPU choices, and Intel making up probably about 75% of them, depending on how many Ryzen chips come out.
But what I'm worried about, this is the thing that worries me with the G4560 is, you know, it's sort of like NVIDIA did this to AMD already, right? AMD's got their new graphics card on the launch. NVIDIA just pumps it out a few months earlier, cheaper price. And they, you know, that's when AMD's got something big on the horizon. Now, this is what's happening. Something big is on the horizon, all pun intended.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think Intel sees that. Okay, bang, G4560. And the thing is, at $64, or in Australia, like $78, that's going to be freaking, that's going to be real hard to beat. You know, like,
exactly.
Straight off the get-go, how the hell do you beat that? Like, you know what I mean? Even if Zen is really good on the budget end, how do you beat $64 with a I'm pretty sure it'll have a freaking cooler included. How do you beat that? That's insane value for money.
Oh, it's crazy. But I mean, the thing is, you got to think, how much profit is Intel making off those higher end chips if they can sell these ones for so cheap?
Yeah. I mean, there is ways in that, right? I'm all for companies, you know, jacking the prices up if we're getting really big improvements, because R&D
if you're
not
paying
cheap.
for the R&D,
yeah,
and
exactly,
stuff.
exactly. Because, you know, upgrades aren't cheap, but the problem is, like, Kaby Lake really
isn't.
Let's be honest. It's not an upgrade. I mean, the IPC is virtually the same, but this, you know, this here, the G4560 is looking like a gem. And I was surprised when I started reading up about this. I was like, okay, everything looks good on paper. And I'm hearing early reports that everything is performing really well on paper too. So, you know, it's damn. Here we go, guys. The winner's already been released. And it's kind of sad because I'm really looking forward to AMD's launch. But this is kind of really going to blow the low end out of the water. Like, I don't see it getting much better than this. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see at the time with what Ryzen brings.
I shouldn't say that's the problem, too. It's actually a really good thing for consumers.
Oh, it's not. Yeah. It's good. That's what I was saying before.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have so much choice. There's going to be so much competition at all areas. So I would say that there's going to be massive amounts of, you know, they'll be dropping prices. Both sides will to try, you know, capitalize on that. And yeah, it's going to be fantastic for people. I think the consumers are going to be able to get a very powerful CPU, you know, relative to the price that we've ever seen.
Yeah, this is really
your money's going to go so far.
Yeah, so I'm looking for the 4-core option as well. I mean, it'd be interesting if Intel did launch a 3-core, 6-threaded CPU. That would be really interesting. But one can only hope. That would be a really cool sweet spot. But there's also, you know, what are they going to do with AMD's obviously got the 4-core on the, we'll talk about this now, so we'll change topics to the 4 cores, right? AMD's Ryzen 4 cores will take on the i3 and the i5, and I think this is really true. A lot of people out there are going to want a 4-core, and if they can hit the market at around $150, then damn, it's game on there. So
yeah, this is really good to see. I think what people took it kind of the wrong way in the last one when I said these dual cores with hyperthreading are very good.
Yeah.
In the sense that you can play all your games because the games only look for the threads. They don't look for the for the cores.
Yeah.
What I meant by that is that you'll be able to play your games, but I'm not saying that you would rather a dual core with hyperthreading than a quad core with no hyperthreading. You're always going to want the physical cores.
Yeah.
It's kind of difficult to explain in a simple way, but hyperthreading is with the virtual cores, it's just not the same. you'll be able to get away with it in terms of your games. You'll still be able to play them.
It depends on
but you always
it depends on the
you
game.
always
though.
want the physical core.
Yeah, of course you want the physical cores, right? You want the floating point
Yeah.
units over having 2 floating point units. But I mean, the thing is, you know, you still got 4 threads there. It can still act like a 4-core, even though it's not a 4-core.
Yeah.
The bottom line is, it's not going to be as powerful. Yeah, especially for gaming, of all things.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's up in the air what you'd want to get. But I mean, when you get a dual, you know, the 4560 is a big deal because it's what, $60. I mean, there you go. So you get a $40 motherboard. Yeah, $100 you've got almost your bare bones. Chuck in some RAM, you got some bare bones there, ready to go. So damn. But I mean, look, Ryzen, they've got their 4-core 4th thread. Interestingly enough, this is what I saw on this article here. 4 cores, 4 threads. So they're going to be doing what Intel's doing. Sort of, they're going to be sort of releasing SKUs with hyperthreading, without hyperthreading, whatnot. It'd be interesting to see their full CPU lineup and what it entails. But yeah, this is their. Apparently, they're going to be launching it around March. That's looking like the release date, and I'd say that's about right on the money. I'd say March is where you're going to be looking. So March 3rd, it's going to be available on stores. I'd say that's pretty damn accurate to when you can see Ryzen being released, and it's going to be a huge launch. Everyone's going to be like, "Oh my god, how does this thing perform? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god." But I will say one thing. I mean, look, we just looked at that G45. I'll get back on, you know, Brian, stop talking about the G4560. I know, but it's going to be hard to beat that. That's all I'm going to say. So if you're looking to go out now, like you're like, look, I cannot wait to build a budget PC, and you know, you've got a friend who can flash that BIOS on the H110 for you. I think actually MSY down the road here, they were charging $10 to flash the BIOS for you. So you might even want to think about that if a store can pre-flash the BIOS for you. I think $5 is pretty fair. I mean, they just quickly got the CPU there, bang, flash. But, you know, if you're looking to get a new PC, new budget PC, then you're not going to be going wrong with the G4560. That's all I want to say. Like,
no, you certainly won't.
It's not going to get much better. So
yeah, I think the Ryzen will be interesting, and also once we actually start testing some of these motherboards out as well, I think will be really cool. I mean, some of these new X370 motherboards for the enthusiasts look absolutely superb. So I think most people, if you're going with the 4-core, you go with that B350 instead. But,
oh man, I can't wait for that B350. That's going to be like...
Yeah, that'll be really cool as well. So I think this will be very, very interesting for a lot of people out there. But hey, I mean, we can only say now, once all these are out, then we'll be able to test them. But I think, Intel's definitely preparing. I mean, I think it shows that they're obviously worried about Ryzen because of maybe something they've heard that we don't know about, or something like that. So the fact that they're releasing all of these, they're trying to oversaturate the market right before Ryzen comes out, tells you something.
But there is another thing too. I mean, how's it going to really compete with the X99 platform? As we pointed out last week, there was only 4 slots of memory there. Sort of like, you know, some people want 8 slots. I mean, there's also apparently only, you know, 24 PCIe lanes, so versus 40 right on X99 chips. So kind of a little bit, you know, what's their answer? Sort of, if they do have an answer for X99, I don't think they dare I say they don't have an answer for some of the X99 real high-end stuff, which is where a lot of profits would come from for Intel. I'm sure of that. But at the same time,
I think they make probably more of the core range than of the extremes. Like the Broadwell, they probably made more of Skylake than they did of Broadwell E or stuff like that. Because although X99, I would say the profit margins are much larger. I mean, not many people run it out of all the people I know.
Yeah.
You're actually the only person I know other than myself running Broadwell E. So
there we go.
It's not that
now.
But I mean, would you agree? Out of all the people, I mean, maybe you're no more enthusiast than me, but out of all my friends that just do gaming, they all just run i5s and i7s.
Did you ask them if they lift?
Oh God!
I mean, come on, it's a valid question.
Are we going down this?
No. All right, we're just gonna move on to the next topic here. So this is sad, right? Kev showed me this article. We're talking about we're talking about last week OLED monitors coming to
Yeah,
to
yeah.
PC, and lo and behold, Dell goes and cancels their 4K OLED monitor project. They're shutting it down.
Yeah.
They're like, nope. Color issues. This monitor would cost $5,000 if it hit the market, and basically it had color shifting when you looked at it from angles. And I'm sure people who are paying this money don't want this product. And so it's wise,
Yeah, it needs to be.
wise choice. I mean, Dell, look, they're in the business. They're not they're not running a charity service here.
Yeah.
So I completely agree. Like for them, if they saw the outlook as being really negative and they cancelled it, and that's okay. I mean, usually if you look at it, I think there's that innovator's curve, right? Whoever puts in the initial R&D always ends up losing. It's always like the early innovators that end up picking up.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll just sell their project to someone else. Someone else will be like, okay, we just got to do this, and this, and then we'll have a PC gaming LED monitor. I think there's a huge market for it, honestly. Like, I think there is a pretty big market for it. People who are just fed up with crappy white LEDs and they're sick of paying good money for it. Like me, I'm holding out. Like, I'm not buying any new monitors until we get some OLEDs in the backlight.
Yeah. No, exactly right. I mean, this don't change what we talked about last week, which was it Sharp, I believe, with their huge investment into OLED technology. So with Foxconn, I think. So yeah, I think that'll be good. So that will obviously still help things, and a lot of other companies are researching it and developing it more. So this is just one sort of thing, but this is always going to happen. You always see with new technology. Yeah, there's always hiccups and speed bumps, and they got to, they run into problems, or it's way too expensive. I mean, 4K monitors when they first came out, just no one could buy them. But then you look at how cheap they are now. So OLEDs will be the same. They'll launch high. Very few people will be able to afford them, and then after a few years later, through efficiencies and other things, the price will drop dramatically.
Well, I was thinking with this, right? With this, we've got the OLEDs, right? I think what might happen, even this is a possible scenario, people will just start using OLED TVs. They'll be like, who cares about PC monitors when I can get such a gorgeous experience out of a HDR OLED backlit TV? Bang. Who cares if it's 50 inches? And you'll start seeing this adoption where people will start running these TVs, and then, the gaming monitor market will be like, what's going on? Why aren't we selling PC monitors? Because, hey, we want the latest tech, and the latest tech is OLED. Get it on the freaking panels.
Yeah.
And, charge us a reasonable price.
Yeah. I think we'll see it on phones first. That'll be the first place, because apparently that's what the technology is all for, is the next iPhone now anyways. Yeah. Okay,
I got this in caps. Question to Tech City. Okay, we'll answer that in the Q&A. It's coming up. Don't worry. We'll answer that. We'll answer that in the Q&A. Don't worry. It's coming up, guys. It's not too far off. We don't have many topics this week because we did the show like a few days ago. So, yeah. We're like,
bigger Q&A section this time. So start thinking about the questions.
Get revved up, guys, for Q&A. But we got here the next article, the Zotac GTX 1080 Mini. So Zotac have done it.
It's not as many as many of the people in that like the mini ITX stuff.
Bulky.
Yeah, it still looks quite bulky from what we've seen in the past. I remember some of the very tiny, even some of the tiny 1060s you can get are much smaller. I don't think this is a particularly good looking card either, but
does look very toit though. Oh man, it does look toit.
Yeah, for those people that
good.
yeah, they're definitely going to be able to get this in their mini ITX build, and getting a 1080 in there. Wow, that's going to be pretty powerful.
That's a winner. That's a winner right there.
Yeah, for a little mini ITX. I don't know how many people do those mini ITX builds these days. I don't know if it's increasing or decreasing. Personally, I'll probably talk to Playtech today about it. Now, their sales guys.
I think it's increasing.
Yeah, let's say sales guys if they're selling more of the mini ITX stuff. But I'm not particularly sure. I knew back a few years ago it didn't have a particularly big following. There obviously were people that were into it. It is quite cool. I do understand why people do get into it. It is really cool, the idea of having a very small, compact PC you can pick up, and
trust me,
if you're a person that moves around a lot, it's really good. Chuck it in a bag or a suitcase, something.
When I was doing all that traveling, dude, that mini ITX PC, it was amazing, dude. So mini ITX PCs are incredible.
Yeah,
they're really good. You can pack all that desktop power into a small package, and you can cool it properly. You can drop a water cooler on there. You can keep the noise down still. There's so much you can do with a mini ITX PC that you can't really do with a laptop. You're going to get those heating issues, or you can't overclock or something. Yada, yada, yada. Problem is, mini ITX gives you that freedom, and you built it yourself, right? You just kind of feel like, your pride's not going to take a dent, right? You walk around with a laptop, people know that you kind of, you're paying a premium for a laptop. So, I don't know.
Yeah, that's it, and I do understand it. So this is going to be really cool for them. Those fans are actually 100mm, which is actually a pretty decent size. You see how big they are in regards to the heatsink underneath. Yeah. So that's plenty big for a little, compact card. So I think actually cooling-wise, this thing would probably be all right, judging by what it is.
Another thing with Zotac as well, they've really stepped up their game. I mean, in 2012, right, I don't think anyone even knew who Zotac were, but now they're actually a really big name in the game, which is really cool to see. I like seeing a manufacturer just come in and say, "Hey, I'm getting in this deal. I want part of the raw steak, and then we're going to cook it up to medium rare." That's what they're doing.
Well, Zotac also used to do very good specials. When I bought my 780 Ti back in the day, that was a Zotac, and just the reference model. And that was only because I was looking at the time to buy a GTX 780, and then Zotac had this special on for the 780 Ti to be the same price as the 780. So I thought, oh, sweet, we'll just buy that instead. And
there you go.
And off we went. Yeah, so that was quite good as well. So I have owned a Zotac card before, and that thing was fantastic.
Keep talking about steak. I guess I want a steak. You
need to go to a steakhouse today.
Yeah, might have to organize that. But according to the GPU boost speeds, we've got 1753 megahertz on the boost, up from 1733. So it actually performs better than the reference card out of the box. So
slightly. With GPU boost 3.0, it'll go up a bit more. Of course, if it starts running into temperature issues, that'll obviously be brought down. Yeah, I think that it'll go just fine. Yeah, for those people. So
that's a solid mini, man. That's a solid mini.
Might be hopefully you'd expect it to be a lower price than a reference or a founder's edition, but you never know. Sometimes they make things more expensive even though they're smaller.
Yeah. Okay, so next we're going to talk about Vega again, and apparently we have a release date which is looking like May. So 30th of May. This is what they reckon now. 30th of May, which looks about right. I mean, looking at these release dates, they kind of start to make sense. I mean, AMD at CES, they didn't have really a production line ready. You could see that, right? They had their sort of prototype still in the works. They were using Titan XPs. So, looks like May. What do you think about May?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. With Computex, that would be a pretty good place for it to go ahead. I think this was what we were kind of expecting around that time. As far as someone asked earlier, did I watch the Good Old Gamer video about doing the mathematics for it? Yes, I did. What did I think of it? Well, I think he raised some good points, although it doesn't technically work the way he described. Basically, what the video was is saying that Vega 10 will have 4096 stream processors. That is the same as what the Fury X had with the Fiji XT GPU in it.
Yeah.
He was basically making the case in the video that if Polaris had 4096 stream processors, pretty much if you put two RX, if you put two RXs to combine the GPUs, it would be the same power as a 1080. So if there's any IPC gains at all with Vega over Polaris, you would expect it to be more powerful than the 1080. That is true to a certain degree, but again, when I did my RX 480 Crossfire against a single 1080, it only won in one of the benchmarks I ran. All the rest of them it actually lost in. So I think when AMD showed off that RX 480s and Crossfire would beat a 1080, they only showed it in one benchmark. I can't remember which one it was. And yeah, in the real world, I found that actually the 1080 ended up winning. Now that was a while ago, so maybe with driver changes now, it might actually be a bit better. So
The
yeah,
thing is, though,
it'll be interesting to see. Yeah.
well, the thing is, man, like, are you going to want to run two graphics cards over one? I mean, me personally, I'd always pick the one graphics card, right?
Oh,
So
you will. Yeah.
yeah. So we got the driver issue. We're not going to go into that, but I mean, look, I'm hoping this will be one big card. One big card. It hits hard and it competes with the GTX 1080. Now, we've talked about this last week, right? We had they're bringing in those technologies that sort of, cancel out the pixels that you don't see, doesn't render them, sort of geometry that you can't see on the final image. It'll sort of cancel that out. That's essentially, that'll be improving the efficiency of the GPU. Then we've got the higher clock speeds. So hopefully this is touted to be one really heavy hitting card. That's what I'm hoping with it.
It will be. Yeah, this will definitely be powerful. I think I think it's pretty fair to say my prediction right now, which is the video I put up just yesterday.
Yeah.
My prediction was that it's gonna beat the GTX 1080 by about 10% performance-wise.
Okay.
And I think that would be quite fair. Maybe a little bit more. That would probably be a launch. Maybe if there's driver changes and stuff like that, there'll be improvements there. But people saying that it's going to beat the Titan XP, which is what the 1080 Ti will be.
Well, they're not comparing it. They're not. Them AMD themselves aren't comparing it against the Titan XP.
Yeah, and another thing that's very overlooked by everyone is that AMD's, through some of the features this has, this is aimed at the professional space as well, the same way the Pro Duo was to a certain degree for VR developers. So I think this is a gaming GPU, but it's also going to be aimed at the more professional side as well, not just entirely there. So, which is kind of what Ryzen is trying to do as well. But as we said earlier, I mean, like, is it really going to hold much over X99 for those people who take productivity stuff really seriously?
Yeah. Maybe
for the people that aren't super serious about it and just do a bit of photo editing and stuff on the side, maybe it'll be great for those people. But yeah, it's there's a lot up in the air right now. But it was an interesting video to see. But there's no question that Vega 10 will be extremely powerful. 4096 stream processors, that's not mucking around. HBM2, this is going to be seriously powerful.
Well, that's the thing. The OpenCL performance is going to be huge on this thing. Like, wow. But obviously, a lot of people are wondering. I'm looking at the dates as well. Like, they put a good point here. It's almost a year after the 1080's launched. I mean, that's a lot of time. I mean, that's probably why NVIDIA's been still doing what they're doing with the GeForce Experience 3. They're looking at making money in any other way but the GPU itself. So, yeah, I was hoping for a January release. Like, I heard rumors that it was going to release this month. I was really hoping that would have been the case. I think, starting off the new year with a graphics card that just competes with the 1080, and then it's something new. It's got the Relive update, but holding it off until May, that's it's a long time. Like, it's another 4 months away still. People want their graphics cards and they want them now, especially with Ryzen launching. People are going to be looking to build new computers. They're going to be looking to build new computers, and if that hits in March, then I guarantee you people aren't going to hold out 2 months to buy a graphics card. So what's going to happen? AMD are inadvertently going to be sending people towards GTX 1070s and even 1080s. And if the 1080 Ti hits at March, hell, you could have them selling 1080 Ti's too. That's from their, competitors shouldn't be doing that for a competitor's product. That's sort of what I'm just saying. So I'd love to see Vega, and it has to come out as soon as possible. But I think I don't see it being anytime soon. Exactly. I don't see it anytime soon. Unfortunately for you guys in the audience, I see it coming. This release date does look pretty accurate. And even then, it could be delayed even more. So it could be delayed. It could be June 30th, if it said the first half of 2017. So, yeah. A little bit worried. I mean, there's of course, we've raised all the good points, but there's the doubt, right? There's a time. So, I'm got a lot of doubts to do with Vega. So the same way I was quite skeptical going into the RX 480 for good reason. It was way too overhyped, and I mean, people thought it was going to beat 1070s and stuff like that, and it just didn't come close. Well, the RX 470, I like the RX 470. It's $150 and it performs.
It's great for value for money. value for money wise. Damn,
I
can't do better really.
Still doing the builds, but yeah, should be this week. Should have some really good content coming finally. But
Yeah.
we got here the Razer Prototype. It got stolen. Apparently, they had these triple screen laptops, and they were stolen. And then one of them's popped up on taobao, which is a Chinese auction site, kind of like eBay. It's a Chinese eBay. And it's rocked up for like what, 21,700 USD.
Damn.
Like
someone
someone
so much money.
Well, yeah, I saw a picture of Linus taken off with one too, but I think that would have been a joke. But I mean, like, this is pretty damn serious, though. If people actually racked this, and then now they're selling it. That's crazy, hey. So, I mean, don't they have a guy? I mean, I guarantee you, the guy on the floor, he would have been fired. One of them, someone would have been fired for this.
Unless someone was super sneaky with it, but I think
man, you should have a guy on. You should have a guy always on the the shop front, sort of like looking over things. I don't know. Do you reckon the guys who stole it, they had the distraction check?
Yeah, they would have been doing. They might have been professional people. I mean, this actually, when it first happened, I thought this would have been like an espionage type thing. I thought that maybe another company had someone take it and then take it to their factory or wherever, and then they were going to copy it or reverse engineer it or something if they were going to go crazy like that. But this might just be as simple as someone just taking it. I mean, all the conspiracy theories about Linus taking it are quite funny, but
come on, man, Linus wouldn't risk getting jailed.
Why Linus? Why would Linus, who
it's just satire.
I don't think. Yeah. But there's some people that actually seem like it was serious. But I mean, I don't think Linus would bother. I mean, Linus isn't hurting for money, so there's why would he risk so much? All his reputation and stuff, just stealing a triple screen prototype.
But I want to talk about the distraction chick. These guys would have had a game plan set up. They would have sent the distraction chick over to the guy at the shop front. He's like, "Yeah, that's right. I work for Razer. Yeah, look, check out this laptop. Oh,
yeah,
shit. Where is the laptop?" And then the chick just bails.
These
guys, they did a planned hit, man. This would have been freaking. I gotta be as sad as it sounds. This would have been epic to see go down. Like if you're watching from the, eating the popcorn, like it would have been sweet to see how they did it. But damn, what a heist.
I mean, they would have had cameras, so they should sort of have figured out what the reason was. But no, it's a bizarre thing. But so whatever. If people are actually that so keen on a 3-screen. I mean, you can get a modification right now for laptops if you want something like this. I can't remember the name of it. It's an accessory that you basically stick to the back of your laptop screen, and then you can just pull 2 more screens out the side. It obviously won't be curved, I don't think, but it's something you can do. So if you already want something like this, you can get it. I forgot the name of the accessory.
Okay.
This is something you can already do.
Okay, so get those Q&As ready. We've got here the Switch. We'll quickly talk about the Switch. It's coming out very soon. I think when's the release date? March 3rd. So March 3rd.
Yeah,
pre-order
something soon. Yeah.
You can pre-order it.
3rd. Yeah.
And what's the things that you like about the Switch?
Well, I sort of only half-heartedly kept up with it, but I think it's quite cool in that size-wise. I think it takes what a lot of people liked about the Wii U, and which there weren't really that many things since it didn't sell very much. But the fact that you can sort of play it on the screen when you dock it, but also then take it with you and play it sort of like a Game Boy type thing is also quite cool. So yeah, I think it's going to. I mean, the reception so far has been lukewarm. Maybe it'll sell
mixed.
quite well.
I'd say it's been mixed. I'd say
mixed,
mixed.
I mean, the screen resolution's not really good, but I don't know.
That ad was out of it, man. Like, hey, let's get dressed to play the Nintendo Switch. It's like, huh? Where's the guy in his underwear who's just gonna like chill on the couch? So, we got here. The biggest thing that I like from the Switch is that the biggest thing I like about this is the Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, the games are
finally. Well, that's what finally they've learned something from their audience, to people they're selling the freaking consoles to. Finally, they've listened and they're learning something, and they're saying, hey, people want a Zelda title. So they're going to be launching Breath of the Wild, and that launches with the Nintendo Switch, which is looking pretty good. But it's said to run at 900p docked and 720p portable. I mean, damn, 900p? Like, come on, like 1080p at least. We got to do 1080p at least.
You would think in this, with the fact that their rivals, with Sony and Microsoft, are releasing 4K capable consoles, that sort of, and Nintendo's not even got into 1080p yet. But I mean, Nvidia are saying that it's going to perform very well because obviously that's running a Nvidia chip in it this time. So I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, Nintendo's never been about the graphics or any of that. It's always just been about the way you play. And
64 definitely was about the graphics.
The fact that it uses cartridges again seems like a bizarre sort of step back.
Yeah, give it back. Give it to me, man. Cartridges, Zelda. This is reminiscent of the 64. So I hope, but the problem is the graphics aren't there this time. You know, like 64 did have kind of cutting edge graphics on it. I will admit.
For the time, it was all right. Yeah,
but,
did all right.
900p in 2017, like. You know, like, dude, 1080p monitors are like $100. You know, like a lot of people are buying 1080p monitors. You'd want something that at least runs natively on a freaking 1080p monitor. So kind of gotta pull off some serious points there for 900p. But yeah, but at least they're getting something right. Zelda's launching with the Switch. I want to clap my hands, but we'll go to Q&A. So that's about it. Unless there's anything you wanted to really talk about with.
No, the one thing I was saying is the fact that Nintendo of late has been struggling with the image that it's the kids console, and they're saying this one they're trying to aim it more at adults than kids, with some of the games and that. But I think obviously that part of the market they'll still have huge amounts of game sales in regards to, you know, parents buying it for their kids.
We don't know. So let's go. So we got Q&A. Let's roll in those questions. We're going to be answering for whatever, you know. So let's hear it. So question for me. Either of you going to check out the ASRock Desk Mini RX GTX? Thing looks amazing. Wow. Okay. Use MXM GPUs and has 3 M.2 drive slots and a Wi-Fi slot. I'll have to check it out, man. I actually haven't looked into it yet. I mean, I've got the Desk Mini, I've got the 110. That was really good. I love that. That was a cool little PC. I'll have to check out their new RX. Thanks for the suggestion. Haven't seen it, but I will check it out. Definitely. Thanks, Larry. We got no price on the CPU or the GPUs from AMD. No official pricing yet, I don't think, on Vega or Ryzen CPUs. So yeah, I think that's up in the air. I mean, if we're looking around for Vega, $600 for the GPU. I think that's a pretty decent estimate. And then for the CPUs, what do you think for the CPUs, Kev, or GPUs too, for Vega and Ryzen?
I'm not too sure at this stage.
So it's anyone's guess. That's pretty much anyone's guess. So yeah. So
I was just reading, someone was asking about that question they had earlier, which was, have you lived with a bad PC for a week, Brian?
Oh, a bad PC for a week? Yes. Yes, technically, yes. When was it? It was Haswell when it initially launched. So I got my 4670K, yeah, got that right. I got it in, and it wasn't so much the hardware wasn't working, the BIOS was bad. So they were just releasing these infancy BIOSes, and they had problems with the compatibility with the memory. So for like a week, I was just like scratching my head, you know, constantly crashing. I was like, what the hell's going on? Updated the BIOS, and then all my problems went away. But yeah, PC problems are frustrating, man. Trust me, they're frustrating. Especially if it's your main rig. So that's kind of like why I like to have my main editing rig now. And then like you have your, you know, if you can afford it, get yourself a benchmarking rig or whatever. Yep. Just hardware that's proven and you know works. And then you can tweak, you know, then you can sort of play around with your other hardware. So in a whatever way you want to play with it. So
yeah. No, exactly.
So we got asked if we will ever meet up in real life. I think we will. Yeah, definitely. Me and
Oh
Kev?
yeah, eventually. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Probably if we're both at Computex this year, then definitely.
oh, definitely, yeah. Can't wait to meet up with Kev too.
Yeah, we'll probably do a tech lounge when we're there if we end up being there together. Considering it runs for about 4 days, I think.
Yep.
We'll probably end up doing something like that. Another question which I thought was quite good
Yep.
for Brian, just to keep it going.
Yeah.
Pentium G4650 best budget CPU question mark.
A G4560. So best chip for a budget build, i3-6100. Not anymore. The G4560 is going to be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that'll definitely be. Which Z270 Mobo from Asia is great for gaming for 150 bucks? I mean, any Z270 is going to be great for gaming. I think the gaming, the name, the title is way overdone now. I mean, on a motherboard, essentially, gaming should really just be you get a decent VRM, solid Intel NIC on there, and also some decent onboard audio if you're using the onboard audio. I mean, I would personally just probably invest into, maybe a FIO or something, a FIO DAC amp, and that way you can carry it on to all your future builds and then get those entry-level Z270s with the Intel NICs on them. That'll be doing you pretty well. You'll be in the money there, you'll be saving money, you'll be having awesome audio from any build that you port onto in the future. You won't have to rely on the upgraded audio. Damn, man, that keyboard's loud.
Oh, sorry, I just got. This is the new Ducky. That's why the year,
that thing is loud.
Year
man.
of the monkey.
I'm just listening. I'm just listening to that thing. It's overpowering, isn't it? So also, what's happening with the security problem with 6th gen Intel CPUs? Not too sure. I have to check that out and research it. Kev's just showing.
I checked that out earlier. Yeah, I need to read about it a bit more. I thought it was a bit. It is something interesting, but I would rather wait for more information to come out regarding it because it seems just a bit crazy right now. But yeah, it is something that will be quite interesting going forward if there is a big problem with KB Lake in terms of security.
Yeah. So, will we be doing any videos on Ryzen? Hopefully. I mean, definitely. Course. I mean, like launch date. Hopefully.
Oh, launch day. Yeah. Hopefully.
Otherwise, post-launch, maybe 1 week or something. So, do I work out? Yeah, I did. Lately, I've been sick, so I haven't been working out much. But I'm going to try and go to the gym today. Actually, I will go to the gym, but I'll try and do a proper full workout. Might only get 60% done or whatever. But yeah, just been so sick, man. Apparently, my dad, he got the results in like the worst strain of influenza going around Australia. So, thank you, Sydney, for giving me that crap. Thank you, Sydney. So I got to pick up the tone a little bit though. That just probably. So
sorry, there's a question. Someone said i7 7700K and Asus Z270 Prime A good combo. Yeah, that would work. That would be just fine. If you're just looking for something solid, I can't see why not. I don't particularly like the looks of the Prime A, but.
Oh wow, the Q&As are coming in so fast now. Sorry, with that recommendation of the Z270 boards as well. I mean, if the Extreme 4 is around about 150 bucks, I'd recommend that.
Yeah.
Or the Killer SLI. I mean, there's a heap of good boards out there for the money.
You should be able to do good overclocking with the Prime A.
Pentium G4650. I mean, is that another iteration of the G4560? I mean, you're getting all these numbers in my head, so. If it's clocked a little bit higher and it's cheap, sure, go for it. Interesting. What laptop specs do you guys run with currently? Laptops, I actually don't have a laptop at the moment. My brother's got one. I've got this. Actually, I bought one in the junk section in Japan. I've got it right here. Dropping an SSD in it. It's a AMD APU. So I'll be doing a video on that. Hopefully it can run League of Legends, and then I can make oh my god, $100 League of Legends laptop, oh my god, video. Would you guys want to see that? So,
I think so.
Are you going to the States anytime soon? Me, I've got no plans as of recent. I love going to Vegas. If I go to the States, I'd love going to LA and Vegas, and then, yeah. I've
never been.
Oh, really? Damn, man, you gotta get over
I
that.
will someday. I definitely
Oh.
want to go. It's just one of those things.
Damn, guys, we have to go make a GoFundMe, get Kev to the United States. GoFundMe. I mean, nowadays I looked at GoFundMe nowadays. All it is just like people like health problems. Hey man, my leg's broke. GoFundMe, fix up my leg. So, I mean, like, what happened to the actual projects though? Like, I don't see any projects on there anymore. Like, hey, help me fund this, you know, OLED light bulb development or something. You know, like no one's doing it anymore. It's just, it's all health things. I mean, feel sorry for people who need help, but I mean, what happened to the original GoFundMe? Like,
yeah, it seems like it's gone a bit off track, to be honest. But yeah, there's another question. This one's actually really good. Any reason to upgrade to an i3 7350K from an i5 2500K? So yeah, for the people that are still on Sandy Bridge,
yeah.
It depends how good of an overclocker is your 2500K. If it's not, then potentially there could be a good reason to. The KB Lake isn't a good. That's sort of too harsh. The one good thing that people are liking about KB Lake is the overclockability.
Yeah.
So that would be one good reason. But I mean, if you're getting like 4.8 out of your 2500K, which quite a few people were back in the day.
Yeah, some people get 5
then,
gigahertz as well, man.
Nah, I wouldn't say there's any point to be perfectly honest. You would
still wait out one more generation. We're still holding out for that generation. Yeah, we're still holding out for that generation that gives us a noticeable bump. I think that's what a lot of people are holding out for. So, I mean, I can't wait for the day that we get that. So we got asked also, pink or brown. What are you with, Kev? Didn't
Are you aware of what this is referring to?
Oh no, I'm just no.
Or are you just acting?
No, because there's that Pink Season, that album that came out too, from Filthy Frank. I've never heard a better album in my life, man. Oh my god.
All the things I thought we would talk about today.
Do you think there will be any EATX Zen boards? I'm not too sure. Hopefully there will be. I love any sort of different sort of motherboard that's, you know, in the picture, so hopefully there will be. I'm not too, as for me having knowledge of it, no. How about you, Kev?
Nah, I don't know knowledge of that.
Yep.
I think time will tell, maybe.
Oh, David Williams, thank man. He said not a question, but he's just a shout out. Mega thanks. Thanks for watching, man. Appreciate it. Love it. Love this this channel's for you guys. This is what the Q&A. Shoot. Thanks, man. So Leo's got a question. He's currently running his computer off CPU's integrated graphics, and he's looking to buy a new GPU. Should I buy a 1070 or wait for Vega? I mean, that's 4 months. So that's what I mean, 4 months. The question is, can you play games? Is that 4 months? This is the biggest question you got to ask yourself. Is that 4 months worth the wait? For me, I couldn't hold out for 4 months on integrated graphics.
I would buy. I would go look on wherever you live. There'll be a second, place where you can buy secondhand graphics cards. Go on there and buy yourself just something to get you by for the meantime, and just use that to get you by. Maybe find yourself a GTX 980 or something like that, something maybe a generation old, and just get you by until Vega comes out, and then when Vega's out, then but I wouldn't wait. If I was on integrated graphics, oh boy, I would just go out and get something cheap to get me by. I used to do that when I first started my YouTube channel, because I was running sort of low on money. I couldn't afford to be buying all these graphics cards to do showdowns for before I had Playtech backing me. I just went out and got myself a really cheap reference R9 290 as my just personal card to run in my rig when I had nothing else, and it was really cheap because the guy was using it for Bitcoin mining, so it had been thrashed for like months, and I just picked that one up for cheap, ran that. It was perfectly fine, nothing wrong with it. Ran perfectly, and that was just a good thing to get me by. In the meantime, it didn't particularly worry me if it blew up or anything, or had massive problems, because I knew I was only going to be running it until I'd gotten something else. And that was fine. So just do something like that. You'll be able to find. I mean, things like R9 290s. You could pick one up very cheaply now. So you could always just do that. It's still pretty good performing graphics card. It gets about the same performance as a 1060. So
Yeah, so actually Nasex, he raised a pretty good question. Why are we going crazy over these new dual cores when you can get second-hand 4 cores, with 8 threads for way less and way better performance? Very good comment. I mean, very valid question.
Yeah.
Extremely valid. I mean, me personally, I always love the used parts. It offers way better price performance. Even to the new, $60-something G4560, even a $30 X3450 is going to trump it in performance. But the thing is, obviously, the used market's not for everyone. I mean, I love the used market. I know a lot of you guys love the used market, but it's not for everyone. Like, I'd say not even for the majority of people. People just want to have a new CPU, new motherboard, warranty, it works, okay, awesome. We're good to go, no problems. I mean, us enthusiasts with the used PCs, right? We love tweaking, we love getting things to work. We know how to diagnose any mishaps, any problems. And so, yeah, definitely the used market, as much as I love the used market, it's not for everyone. So,
no, it isn't. A lot of people forget that the vast, probably, well, maybe not the vast, but there is certainly a big amount of people who will just go into their local PC gaming store, like Playtech here, and they'll just walk in and just say, hey, I want to build my first gaming PC. I'm going to follow a guide on YouTube or something. Recommend me the CPU, GPU, all that. And they will not even be aware that there's any used market or anything like that. They'll just go in and buy whatever gets recommended to them. So the hype is because it's going to give people so many options that those people who don't know much about it or only do a bit of research beforehand will realize, wow, I've got, that the market will be extremely saturated by comparison to last generation.
It's going to be a great thing too. So we got asked $180. So you already answered that. Sorry, I'm just going through the questions now, making sure we didn't miss anyone. So Paladins, it's going really well. YouTube says I got him into the game. Thanks, YouTube. That's his name, YouTube. Thanks, YouTube. I got you playing Paladins, man. So, 2500K over the i3 7350K. So, because I mean the motherboard's hopefully going to be a lot cheaper too if you can get a Z67. Eugene, he's said something dirty in Japanese. I'm not going to repeat that. So guys, so we'll start wrapping up the questions. I'm just trying to I'm going through. So it's about it really. Can you see anything else? So
no, I mean the only other one I saw earlier was people were asking if you're going back to Japan anytime soon.
Oh, me, Japan? No, like not planned anyway. So knowing my ex, she might make up something and be like, oh, she really, I'm not going to go into it, but she really gave me a real fright, and she knows how to do it. She knows, like, look, if there's anyone who knows how to get a rise out of me, it's my ex. She's the master of it.
That's always the case, man. They always know which buttons to push.
It's just like, basically when I said, no, I'm ironclad, I'm not going to let her get to me. She knows how to do it. She goes and does it. Like, she just figures out how she can get a rise out of me. And she does. So she'll probably get a rise out of me to the point where I have to fly over there and, and it'll be about my little boy, of course. So, so I don't get it, man. Like, where are these women? Like, before we close the stream, where are these women that people talk about? The ones that, appreciate a decent guy. I'm trying to find them.
Oh god, should go post in Reddit's nice guys.
All right, I'm not going on Tinder. I don't do Tinder or online. I really don't want to do it. I don't want to do online dating apps so I don't know. Anyway, that's about it for this, guys. Episode 10, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit the like button and let me know if you've got sort of questions that you want answered as well and you can't make it for the show, then be sure to just follow us on Twitter or go to the forums as well, techcity.tv/forums, and post a question there as well. And if you want it answered on the show, then at this Q&A segment, and let us know. Always here for you guys. And we'll catch you in another tech video very soon. And Kev, you got anything before you close out?
Just thanks, guys. It's been great. Still, really enjoying doing the Tech Lounge. It's really fun, and I like all the questions we're getting, and being able to do all the news and stuff like that. It's really enjoyable doing this show.
Sweet. All right, guys. We'll catch you for episode 11, and thanks for Kev for coming on. I'll put the link in the description for his channel below too. So we'll catch you next week. peace out for now, and gotta close the stream down. Bye.
Yeah.